We at Move Texas State understand just how important the primaries are, not just for our state, but for the entire country. That's why we are so excited to help sponsor this event today, because our community's future is on the ballot this election and every election. I was at an event yesterday, a fundraiser hosted and organized by Mano Amiga. It was to give back to immigrants and their families that were negatively affected by the ICE deportations. One of the organizers there, she kept on reiterating that joy is a form of resistance. Joy is a form of protest. And as I look out this crowd, it's all of your joy, all of your strength, all of your fight that can help us truly change Texas for the better. That's why we are always excited and eager when elected leaders like our next speaker, Texas Representative Erin Zwiener, make it a priority for her fellow elected leaders to meet young voters where they are, on campuses, in our communities, and in spaces like this. So it is our pleasure to introduce to the stage Texas Representative Erin Zwiener.
Hey y'all, I'm State Representative Erin Zwiener, and many of y'all may remember, and many of y'all were part of my first election in 2018, when we flipped Hays County from red to blue. For those of y'all who weren't part of it, and just a refresher, I stepped up to run in 2018, and a lot of the Democratic establishment dismissed our chances. Hays County was red, we couldn't win, it was nice to have a name on the ballot, but we probably wouldn't get there. But what happened is we had an amazing year because people in this room believed and they fought and they encouraged every single voter to come out and participate in the election. The result, I won by 3.2 points. Now this is a James Talarico event. Why am I talking about my own race? Because James Talarico was running a parallel campaign up in Williamson County in 2018 just as well, or just at the exact same time. And what he learned and what I learned from those races is that there is a false dichotomy of turnout versus persuasion when we're trying to win elections. The answer is always both. Have an open hand to people, invite them to come in if they're curious about the democratic values, and work to reach out to every single person who hasn't been participating in our elections and tell them why you're worth it. James ran that type of campaign successfully in 2018, and I believe that he can take that same type of campaign and run it statewide. And it was interesting serving with James in the legislature. We came together, he was the youngest member, I was the second youngest member. I didn't have any resentment, I promise. But he was just obviously something different. I would do a tweet about banned books and I'd get like 100 likes. James would do his tweet about banned books and it would go viral. And I started to realize that this friend of mine who came into the legislature with me just had this different communication talent. This something special. And I think we all can see how that communication talent is really important for the campaign, but I want you to know that it's also important for governance. The amazing thing about James, well, let me back up and say in the legislature we have this idea that legislators are either a show pony or a workhorse. I identify as a kind of pretty workhorse. James is all show pony and he's all workhorse. He has both of those talents to the core. And he uses that communication talent to build coalitions with policy making as well. Pushing not just the members of the legislature, but pushing the public to reach out and engage with their elected officials, changing the entire conversation around our issues. And that's how we build permanent change. It's not winning one election, it is about changing the entire conversation. And I can think of nobody better than James Talarico to do that. going to say one more quick thing, and then I'll welcome my friend. James has been building to this moment for a long time. He has a personal calling to help turn Texas blue. And he and I were talking last summer about this race. We, check in every week or so about how he was feeling and whether or not he was going to run. And one night, it was fairly late, he asked me, what do you think? What do you think? And I just said, James, I think you've been building to this moment. And I think if you don't do it, if you don't try to flip Texas this year, I think you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And his response was, I think you're right. I think I'm in. So thank y'all for being part of this moment. Thank y'all for being part of this fight. And without further ado, I would like to welcome my friend, the next senator from Texas, James Talarico.
Thank you, Erin, for those very kind words. Thank you, Vanessa, for your kind words and your leadership in this community. Thank you to all of you for showing up here in the middle of a weekday. I appreciate that. And thank you to our volunteers in the vest who made this event possible. We're very grateful to you. We are on our Take Back Texas tour. We are hitting the road. We're going everywhere. We're talking to everyone. And that is because we are building a movement to take back our state and take back our country. And I am so grateful that y'all are joining that movement. It's so good to be back in Central Texas after a crazy week last week. On Monday, I filmed an interview with Stephen Colbert on The Late Show. And as you may know, the Trump administration pressured corporate executives at CBS to keep that interview off the air. I think it's safe to say at this point that that plan backfired. And these are the same people who ran against cancel culture. And now they're trying to control what we say, what we watch, what we read. And this is the most dangerous kind of cancel culture, the kind that comes from the very top. They went after The View after I appeared on that program. They went after Jimmy Kimmel for telling a joke they didn't like. They went after Stephen Colbert for telling the truth about Paramount's bribe to Donald Trump. Corporate media executives in this country are selling out the freedom of speech to curry favor with corrupt politicians. And a threat to any of our First Amendment rights is a threat to all of our First Amendment rights. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whether you're a progressive or a conservative, because the real fight in this country is not left versus right, it's top versus bottom. And we launched this movement 5 months ago in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas, not too far from here. Shout out to Round Rock. And since then, we have had thousands of Texans showing up to rally with us in every corner of the state. From Beaumont to Amarillo, from El Paso to Brownsville, and everywhere in between. And I can't tell you how many people come up to me at the end of these events and whisper, I'm not a Democrat. Like it's some kind of secret witness protection program. We have recruited more than 22,000 volunteers who are doing the organizing work in every community across this state to win in November. And we have shattered grassroots fundraising records, all without taking a dime from corporate PACs. This is a people-powered movement to take on this broken, corrupt political system. This is truly a campaign of, by, and for the people. We're not just trying to win an election. We are trying to fundamentally change the politics in this state and in this country. This nation is so divided that we can't even share the Super Bowl anymore. 2 different halftime shows for 2 different Americas in 2 different realities. Bad Bunny, one of my favorite artists, gave one of the best Super Bowl halftime performances of all time. And then I saw that Kid Rock, an artist that I grew up listening to, held a counter concert, which I didn't even know that was a thing. What leads someone to protest that beautiful halftime show? I think it's fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, fears we all struggle with. But there was nothing to be afraid of in that halftime show. Just joy and unity and love. Because in the words of Scripture, love casts out fear. Or in the words of Bad Bunny, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. You know, that word love is maybe the most important word in the English language. It's certainly the most important word in all of our lives. And yet, we rarely hear it spoken in our politics. My granddad was a Baptist preacher in South Texas. And when I was real little, he told me that we were supposed to follow the 2 commandments that Jesus gave us. Love God and love neighbor. Jesus could have told us to love our immediate family members. He could have told us to love our close friends. Those would have been easier commandments to follow. But he told us to love our neighbors. That's inherently a public thing. It's what led me to public service. First as a public school teacher on the west side of San Antonio. And now as a public official in the State House. I launched my very first campaign for the Texas House 8 years ago back home in Williamson County. And back then, I was told it was a lost cause. I was told the race was unwinnable. I was told flipping a Trump district was impossible. I was told I was too young. I was told I didn't have the money or the connections to win. But my neighbors and I, we ran an aggressive, authentic, unorthodox campaign that brought people together. And on election night, we flipped that district with 51% of the vote. And as a legislator, even as a Democrat in a Republican-dominated body, I've been able to pass major bills to bring down the cost of housing, bring down the cost of childcare, bring down the cost of prescription drugs, including insulin. I am trying to love my neighbor through public policy. I'm trying to make my neighbor's life a little easier and a little better. That kind of love in our politics is getting harder and harder to find. There is something wrong in our political system. The reason politics sucks right now, it's not any one politician. It is the system itself. Think about who is sitting behind the President of the United States on Inauguration Day. Think about who runs the 24-hour corporate media that treats news as entertainment. Think about who owns the social media algorithms that keep us angry and divided. A handful of billionaires have redesigned our politics for their own profit. Us versus them. Trolling, owning, name-calling, winning at all costs. It's professional wrestling. We all keep watching, we all keep scrolling, we all keep fighting, and they keep getting richer. They divide us on an hourly basis by party, by race, by gender, by religion. So we don't notice that they are picking our pockets, that they are closing our schools. They're gutting our healthcare. They're raising taxes on all of us while they cut taxes for themselves. It's the oldest strategy in the world. Divide and conquer. They have literally changed how we talk to one another. They have changed how we learn about the world. It's the reason you and your MAGA uncle, who you used to get along with just fine, now live in completely different realities. Politics shouldn't feel this way. Politics is just another word for how we treat our neighbors, and we should treat each other a lot better than this. You know, I really do believe that together we can transform this broken political system. They may have the money, but we have the majority. And it's going to require all of us coming together across these manufactured divisions. Fight the system, not your neighbor. That is such an important distinction that we have lost sight of in our politics. There is something broken in this country. Our political system is broken, our economic system is broken, even our relationships with each other feel broken. And that's because the most powerful people in the world want it that way. I told you that my faith teaches me to love my neighbor as myself. Not just my neighbor who looks like me. Not just my neighbor who prays like me. Not just my neighbor who votes like me. I am called to love all of my neighbors the way I love myself. Because despite our many differences, despite our many disagreements, we all really do want the same things. A safe neighborhood, a good job with good benefits, a high-quality, well-funded public school, and the ability to see a doctor when we need one. That is a lot of common ground. I don't know about y'all, but I am tired of being pitted against my neighbor. I'm tired of being told to hate my neighbor. It's been more than 10 years of this kind of politics. Politics as blood sport. Politics as total war. It tears families apart. It ends friendships. It leaves us all, no matter what side you're on, feeling terrible all the time. As I travel this state, I really get the sense that across the political spectrum, there is a deep hunger for a different kind of politics. Not a politics of fear, not a politics of hate, not a politics of division, but a politics of love. A love for the state, for this country, and for all of our neighbors. A kind of love that can heal what's broken in this country. I was in Laredo, Texas, a couple weeks ago. That's my mom's hometown. And a man stood up and asked me a question that I think is a very fair question. And it's something I've asked myself. I'm sure it's something you've asked yourself. He said, "Isn't love too weak for this moment?" And so I took a second and I told him, my faith teaches me that love is the strongest force in the universe. Love is not passive. Love is not neutral. Love is not weak. Love sometimes requires that we stand between the bullies and the bullied. Love sometimes requires that we look evil in the eye and not blink. Love sometimes requires that we flip over the tables of injustice. That kind of love has always been a threat to the powers that be. That kind of love is revolutionary. That kind of love is radical. That kind of love is creative. Hate is boring. Hate is predictable. Hate can't lower our energy bills. Hate can't teach a child how to read. Hate can't build a future. But what hate can't do, love can. Love can turn a student into a scholar. Love can turn an enemy into a friend. Love can turn a campaign into a movement. That kind of love, that kind of aggressive, that kind of fierce love is what we're rooting this campaign in. We're not going to defeat the politics of division with more division. We're not going to win this race by shaming or ridiculing or alienating our neighbors. In my experience, when you extend an open hand rather than a closed fist, you'll be surprised by who takes that hand. If you hate politics and you've never voted before, you have a place in this campaign. If you have voted for Democrats, but you're tired of Democratic politicians always folding, you have a place in this campaign. And if you voted for Donald Trump, but you are fed up with the extremism and the corruption in our government, you also have a place in this campaign. A new kind of politics is possible. It's waiting to be born through all of us. And so, a movement that radiates that kind of love is unstoppable, and it will win. And we have a moral imperative to win. If we don't win, we can't help anybody. If we don't win, we can't stop what's happening. We are seeing the consequences of losing elections all over the state and all over this country. A secret police force is literally terrorizing our neighbors as we speak. All over Texas, all over America. ICE shot a mother in the face. ICE kidnapped a 5-year-old boy. ICE shot a man in the back on our streets before our very eyes. It is time to tear down this secret police force and replace it with an agency that's actually going to focus on public safety for all of us, whether we're documented or undocumented. It is past time to impeach Secretary Kristi Noem. It is past time to prosecute agents who have abused their power. And once we have a Senate majority, we must haul these masked men before Congress so the world can see their faces. These masked men are waiting in school pickup lines. They're lurking in hospital waiting rooms. This is not law enforcement. This is something else. They say it's about law and order, but they are waiting outside courthouses, arresting people who are following the law and showing up for their immigration hearings. They say it's about the economy, but they're deporting the very people who keep our economy running. They say it's about illegal immigration, but now they're going after American citizens. This has never been about immigration. This has always been about control. The easiest way to control a population is to keep people afraid. Keep them looking over their shoulder. Keep them in line. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't criticize the government. Don't draw attention to yourself and speak your mind. Otherwise, you'll be disappeared or even killed. No more secret police. No more masked men in unmarked vehicles. No more disappearing people off our streets. This is the United States of America. We're not supposed to fear our government. Our government is supposed to fear us. Many of you know that in addition to my public work as a state official and as a candidate for Senate, but you may not know that I am also a student in seminary, studying to become a minister like my granddad someday. And so I know things are really dark right now. And so I'd like to leave you with a little bit of pastoral care, whether you're religious or not. I feel like we all need that care in this moment. And I've been thinking about this lyric from a great American songwriter, John Prine. He wrote, "I really love America, I just don't know how to get there anymore." And that's enough to break your heart. And when I'm feeling this way, there's a verse of scripture that I return to. And again, whether you're religious or not, I hope it can be a gift to you. It's in the Gospel of Luke when Jesus says something really strange. He says, "Blessed are you who weep." And that's a strange thing to say, because how could someone who's weeping be considered blessed? In our culture, in this country, we tend to avoid grief. But I think we forget that grief can be fertile soil. Sometimes we see the world most clearly through our tears. So if your heart is breaking right now as you watch what's happening to our beloved country, it means you still have a heart. And I want you to trust that. I want you to protect that. Because that is what's going to get us out of all of this. Resistance starts right here, by refusing to mirror the hate and the violence and the inhumanity that surrounds all of us. There has never been a more important time to be a human being. In a time of shadows, it is so important that each of us shines our light. Like many of you, I'm tempted by hopelessness. But then I come to San Marcos and I see a room full of neighbors who are trying to save their country. And all of a sudden I feel a little bit of hope. And a little bit of hope is a dangerous thing. The fact that you're all here in the middle of a weekday means you haven't given in to hopelessness. And that means the bullies haven't won yet. And action is the antidote to despair. You can't wring your hands when you're rolling up your sleeves. We got a lot of work to do, but I am confident that together we are going to win this election. We are going to take back our state, and we're going to take back our country. Because in the words of Bad Bunny, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Thank y'all for being here. God bless you. Let's go win this one. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out. You guys are awesome. He's going to take a few pictures first with some people, and then we're going to do our ADAs, our Americans with Disabilities. Okay, let them get their shot in first, and then you guys can exit out that back door. But if we can, clear us a path on the other side of the stage there. So we've got walkers, hobblers. So if you guys don't mind, you guys just sit tight for a second. And then we're going to start the photo line. It's going to come on over this way. Okay, so if you guys don't mind, keep it quick. And that way we can get him back on the road. Thank you guys for coming out.
She's great. But thank you all so much again for coming. Move helped sponsor and plan this event with the help of College Dems.
Sir, excuse me.
Every year, our
Sir,
Move
hi.
chapters all across
Do you mind if I
Texas
leave my
on
phone
different
right
college
here?
campuses register tens
No, that's
of
fine. Okay,
thousands
thank
of
you.
people to vote. Currently, up to this